अंदर गया है। इशू क्या है? यहाँ से ठीक है, वहाँ से आ गया। अभी आया। आया अंदर आया। द
يلا بيبدون الحين. وين
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أسعد الله صباحكم بكل الخير وأهلا وسهلا بكم مجددا في لقائنا اليوم الثاني في قمة STEM السعودية الثالثة. Good morning, distinguished guests and participants. Welcome to day 2 of the annual Saudi STEM Summit. Yesterday, we shared inspiring discussions that showed the power of STEM in shaping our nation's future. Today, we continue this journey with pride in the leadership of King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud and the vision of His Royal Highness Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman through Saudi Vision 2030, which drive us to innovate and empower our youth. This year, our summit also aligns with the celebration of Saudi National Day, a time to honor our unity, achievements, and bright future. We are especially proud to announce that we are hosting a unique competition in STEM this year. STEMathlon competition originating from Greece will now be hosted in Saudi Arabia by IBE Forum in partnership with Inna Education, and it will be a great gate for students, a new milestone in a global collaboration and exciting opportunity for our youth to shine on the world stage. Together, let's celebrate our national pride and continue working toward prosperous and sustainable future. We begin day 2 of the 3rd annual STEM Education Conference with a panel on bridging the gap between industry and academia. Moderating the discussion, Dr. Amira Deeb, an international consultant and accreditation expert with over 20 years of experience in STEM education. Please welcome our distinguished moderator on board.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rania. Thank you. Dear esteemed audience, thank you very much for attending the event, and please join me to welcome the panel. First of all, I'd like to welcome Dr. Salah Al-Isa. Dr. Salah is the Vice Dean at the Ministry of Education Leadership Institute and a former global learning and development leader. He brings decades of experience shaping corporate learning strategies and the national talent development programs. Welcome, Dr. Salah. Thank you very much. As well, please join me to welcome Dr. Gavin Jenkins. Dr. Gavin is a Dean of Lincoln College International and an education leader with expertise in curriculum design and workforce development. His work bridges the gap between education and labor market needs in Saudi Arabia. Welcome, Dr. Gavin. Thank you. And please join me to welcome Dr. Abir Al-Harbi. Dr. Abir is the General Director of Ranking Programs at ETEC, a Fulbright Fellow and seasoned academic leader. She has authorized books and research that shape higher education and the STEM development nationally and internationally. Welcome, Dr. Abir. Last but not the least, welcome Ms. Jihan. Ms. Jihan Hyde. Ms. Jihan is the award-winning CEO of ComUnique and the leading ECG strategist. Recognized as a LinkedIn top green voice, she champions the sustainability governance and the business of STEM. Welcome, Dr. Ms. Jihan. Thank you very much for joining us, and let's start our panel discussion. I'd like to start by a question about the gap between academia and STEM. So, Dr. Salah, please, could you let us know more about how can academia and the industry collaborate to ensure STEM curricula reflect the skills most demanded by tomorrow's workforce, please?
Thank you, Dr. Amira, and I'd like to thank everybody here for joining us today. Maybe the good things for me personally that I have served both. So I worked in the industry, I also work as an academic person. Let's look at it from the industry point of view. When I was in the industry, whenever we receive graduates coming to us, there is a big difference actually in terms of their understanding as well as the application. The biggest gaps comes from the application. And I think that goes back into the way that we design and articulate many of the curriculum into our schools, generally speaking. Targeting knowledge more than a skill, unfortunately. That's one. Second, we notice that the cognitive learning is not there, actually. So people, even a bright student who's joining the workforce, they're perhaps very good in terms of articulating what, but not the how. They never explore the how side. The critical thinking is not there. So I think bridging that gaps, perhaps we need to take it back into the roots. It's root cause. And in my personal opinion, the root cause is many of the curriculum designer, they themselves have not experienced what it takes to do the job at the industry. So I worked in the West. I had the opportunity actually to work in the UK and study in the UK as well. You know, a kid maybe 12 years old in the UK, when they can articulate what and why they're doing this. They can relate it to their own life, their daily life. What we've noticed really in the last 3, perhaps 4 decades in our curriculum does not really connect with the industry in terms of the focus. What is the focus of this industry? I'll give you an example. When I was at SABIC, I served at SABIC for about 15 years old. So 15 years in SABIC made me really think about those graduates who's coming to us from schools and university, with exception obviously of some universities. I don't want to generalize. They don't understand the industry itself. They see the equations, for example, as an equation. They don't see it, they don't relate to it. They don't see that this plastic bottle in front of us every day in any meetings, I can actually design a STEM learning around that plastic bottle, easily, which contain chemistry, math, and physics. They don't relate to that. So if you ask them a question on some knowledge, they are very knowledgeable. But then when it comes to the application, they lack that. So that, it goes back into the way they were prepared. We have very weak way of preparing students to the workforce, simply because there is lack of connection between the people who are designing the curriculum and the people who are actually in charge of the workforce at the industry. There are exceptions, but if I can classify some of our universities today in the KSA, we all know, without an exception, our Saudi colleagues, our Saudi brothers and sisters, and the people who live in Saudi Arabia, they can tell. We do have two universities that stands out. Unfortunately, the other universities, they lag behind. And you find the employment rate of those two universities is extremely high, simply because they have a close connection. KFUBM, for example, they have very close connection with Aramco and SABIC. I know the professors there. They have regular meeting, discussion, industrial collaboration, industrial advisory committees they have created. They collaborate on monthly basis between them and SABIC and Aramco. Whereas some other universities, professors and curriculum designer, they completely disengage in that process. So for me, these are the three things perhaps that stands out.
Thank you very much, Dr. Salah. Dr. Gavin, talking about the same topic about the gap between academia and the industry, Dr. Salah talked about the curriculum and the lack of knowing how to apply. Knowing that you have expertise in the Saudi Arabia and this area, what else could be a solution for bridging this gap?
Good morning, everyone. I'll be a little bit more controversial, shall we say. So if we look at our current processes, I've been working in education for 20 years and we've continued to have a skills gap. So whatever process we have in place at the moment has failed and continues to fail. If you look at the question where it says collaborate, I don't think we need to collaborate. We almost need to enforce. There needs to be an enforcement in terms of the accountability, the responsibility of the next stage of someone's training and education to be a part of what we do. So I'm a dean of an institute, and every semester I complain about the schools. Okay, the schools are not providing me with the right knowledge and skills for my trainees. As my trainees graduate, the companies I work with complain about me. And the system just goes round and round and round. So we're at a situation then where I have a theory called the chicken and egg theory. So in terms of skills, okay, do we as an education institute try to predict tomorrow's skills? Because if I wait for industry to tell me, it's too late. Okay, digital transformation, tomorrow's skills, by the time I write my curriculum and deliver them, is tomorrow's skills. So we have a continued gap. So which one comes first? You know, do we wait for industry to tell us and then we rewrite our curriculum and our planning? Or as educators, as training specialists, we try to predict. And that prediction needs to be informed. And it can only be informed if the certification bodies that we require and our industry partners are enforced to take some ownership, some responsibility. So at my institute yesterday, we solved this. Okay, so I had a workshop where we had KFUPM, okay, in terms of education next steps. We had the American Society for NDT, which is the certification body, and I had 5 industry partners. Okay, and I told them, I will write your programs, but you're responsible for telling me what I need to write and deliver. And I think it's that responsibility that we need to focus on, instead of people like me blaming the system that comes behind them.
Okay, thank you very much. So talking about this change or enforcing that change, who will take the ownership? Universities, policymakers, or schools, or whoever?
Everyone in the system. Okay, so if you imagine, you know, we're entering a world where tomorrow nobody knows. So if that is coming from industry in terms of, you know, now we want more